Okay, so just yesterday I had my first ACCA exam and it was financial reporting. Basically, I graduated from uni December of last year, and so this was the first quarter in which I could actually sit an ACCA exam. I got four exemptions from my degree, and that left me with my first exam as financial reporting. So I thought I'd just make a quick video kind of describing what it was like in the exam room because it was my first ACSE exam. So it's a bit weird and a bit strange, and how it went well. And maybe if you're revising for your financial reporting exam, some top tips to kind of help you do well in the exam and kind of not lose your cool and keep your head. So, yes, it was a computer-based exam. I believe that all of the applied skills ones are computer-based exams. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but I think it is. And yeah, like I said, I got four exemptions and I chose to do financial reporting as the first one. There's not really a set sort of schedule of exams that you should take, but just reading through other people's experiences, asking ChatGPT as well, it did say that financial reporting was the first one. I also chose it because it's quite similar to what I'm doing right now in my current role as an assistant accountant. So I'm looking after leases and a bit of capital expenditure as well. So depreciation, leases, and stuff like that are quite a bit of the module in financial reporting. So I thought it would help in conjunction with the work that I'm actually doing. And I'm not sure. I don't know if it's because of my own ignorance, but I I found that there wasn't a lot of information about the exam, not in terms of what we're going to be learning or in terms of the exam structure, but what you can expect as you go to the exam center. So where I was doing it was Leicester. So I went to Leicester. You had to get there at 1:30 was the start time, but you had to get there an hour before just to check in and stuff and kind of give in your docket, which is kind of like your ticket into the exam, basically. So, yeah, I just felt like that there wasn't a lot of information in terms of what you could bring into the exam or, anything that needed to be in a specific place. Because I remember that in GCSE, you could only bring in a water bottle with a clear water bottle is what I was saying, so without the label. But for those of you asking, it was quite normal, I would say. You could kind of bring in your bag and your study material just before, if you wanted to revise before you actually start the exam. And then they'll just tell you that you can put your belongings and the stuff that you can't have for the exam, and you can just leave it to the side. It would be worth bringing a calculator because I'm not sure about you, but it's a lot easier to use a physical calculator than it is to use the one that they have on the system or on the application. They do provide you with paper as well. So if you want to work out or jot some notes down, they will provide you with that. But obviously, you need to bring in a pen. But again, yeah, it was pretty normal, just a computer based exam basically, which was a bit strange because all of my uni ones were handwritten and a lot more essays and not many working out. But you know, that's a different stage now. And moving on, my thoughts. Yeah, I thought it was a good exam. To be fair, um, I feel like I prepared quite well. For those of you asking, my provider was accountancy, spelt like ACOW, so accountancy. Yes, it's very strange and it doesn't give much credibility through the name of the provider, but I promise you they are very, very good. They're a platinum provider. I think they're a lot cheaper as well per module than sort of Kaplan or Cooper, is it the other one? But either way, I thought I was pretty well prepared. I did do my revision, and one thing that kind of surprised me was that the timing was pretty good. I actually ended up doing all of the multiple choice questions quite quickly. Again, not sure if that's a good sign. We'll see when the results come out, but I felt like my timing was pretty good, and at no point during the exam did I feel rushed, which is a good sign. And at the bottom there, yeah, I've said perhaps we had a good question compared to some other examples. By that, I mean that the consolidation question in section C of the exam was a P&L with a subsidiary, which isn't too bad. I think that's pretty good. I thought that a P&L might be better, might be preferable for me than a balance statement. So I'm quite happy with that. And yeah, I can say that I had a smile on my face when I read that it was going to be a P&L. I thought that yeah, there's other ones where there's an associate involved, and ACCA can make it quite murky if they wanted to. So I felt like yeah, they kind of made it a bit simple, maybe, perhaps, I don't know. But yeah, I thought overall it was a good exam, positive. More thoughts? Yeah, that one leases question and a lot of agriculture, which is so weird because agriculture is and biological assets are quite a small part of the syllabus, but there was an entire section B question on agriculture, which is so strange because again, it's such a small part of it. So it's important that you kind of learn the entire syllabus, make sure that you kind of cover everything, understand everything. Yeah, that one Lisa's question, as far as I know, it was quite a simple question. I think they provided all the information I had, but for some reason I just couldn't get the answers that was anywhere near the options that were available. So it was a multiple choice question, but all of my workings just led somewhere else entirely, and I'm not sure why. I just yeah, that really, really did bother me because, like I said, I'm doing a bit of leasing in my job, so it should have been such an easy question to answer and easy points, but I have to be honest that I had to guess that one completely. So 25% chance I got that right, but we'll see. And yeah, at the end, I'm glad that I revisited some questions because as you may or may not know, this financial reporting one is it's an applied skills one, so you can't just learn the rule, you have to understand how it works, and as with any rule there are exemptions. So going back to some of the questions, you realize that well, actually this rule doesn't apply to this one because of this other certain criteria. So yeah, maybe the fact that I finished all the MCQ questions quite quickly meant that I had time to go back and actually look at these things and read the question properly, because I did end up changing a couple of my answers, I think, when I came back to it the second time. So you know maybe I had the correct answer the first time around, I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, I thought overall it was a decent exam, and I'm not worried about it, I guess. Just need to pass. Yes, the tips. Do the practice and get comfortable with the system, because it is I don't know about you obviously, but it was my first ACC exam and it was the first in-person computer one as well. So it's a bit strange because I'm normally used to pen and paper and writing all of it down, and one thing, putting my workings on the computer as well. Not the scratch pad, because the scratch pad is basically like pen and paper where the workings don't count, but trying to be able to organize on that Excel thing is a bit weird, and so you should really get comfortable with it, and like formatting as well. It's like Excel, so most people who are in finance would probably understand it, but again, it is quite weird. Revise everything. Application matters. Like I said before with the agriculture stuff, it just came out of nowhere. And I think if I had skipped that part of the module or the syllabus, yeah, I would be in a much worse state right now, I think, because that's I think that was 10 marks or something, that entire question. So 10 marks that could be that I could not have got if I didn't read that. So important to learn everything, and yes, application matters. They're not just rules in financial reporting. It's how you use it. For example, I remember there was a question about held for sale assets, and does it have depreciation or not? It does not have depreciation, so it's quite weird. It's very weird. And if you've already done some practice tests, the wording of everything is quite key. And it's quite key, I think, because they could make everything very, very complicated. But it's only once you see like a work through question, you realize it's so easy and it makes so much sense. But in the moment, it's quite difficult to understand what they're kind of trying to do with the question. Check timing. Obviously, as with any exam, you've got 3 hours for this. So, hopefully you should time yourself. I don't particularly know. I think what they try and say is it's like for every mark it's 2 minutes or something, or is it 1.5? That probably works out, I think. So if that works for you, go ahead. Wouldn't say I kind of followed that structure. I kind of just did. I just went with the flow, to be honest. I'm more of a go with the flow kind of guy. So yeah, check your timing and then read everything carefully. Like I said, do you know what the biggest thing is as well in a consolidation question? Is the timing of everything is so important, because in the question that I had, I think it was, oh, they acquired this subsidiary um on March, and guess what? The year end date is 6 months after that. So you'd only take half of their P&L, if you know what I mean. So the dates with everything are so important, especially in financial reporting when you're talking about leases and depreciation and all that. So yeah, read everything and make sure you understand everything properly as well. But yeah, I think that's the end of the slides. I hope you understood everything. Um, yeah, I'm sure I'll be making another one of these videos in 3 months' time, because I think I'm going to be doing tax next. That's what is on my mind. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm sure in 6 weeks I'll have passed financial reporting, and yeah, on my way to becoming a chartered accountant.